One of the most valuable pieces of information that a man can ever learn is how to handle the crazy mind games that girls play on us. Because there's a lot of them, and when you don't understand these mind games and what to do about them, it really is kind of like a form of mind control. So listen carefully. Number 1, the look at me but don't look at me game. From the very first interaction that you ever have with a girl, one of the craziest mind games that she might try to hit you with is the look at me game. Because from the moment that you lock eyes with a girl, what she wants to do is she wants to secretly put you into position as the chaser or put you into position as the pursuer. So in other words, she wants to set the frame. She wants to get your attention while at the same time acting like she doesn't even notice you. Something that you guys will notice early on is that girls are naturally really sly and they're naturally really sneaky. So most of the time, they have already noticed you long before you have ever noticed them. But even though they've seen you, they want to make it look like they haven't noticed you, because then when you start showing interest in them, it sets the frame that you were the one who pursued them instead of the other way around. And girls will start doing this before they even meet you, but they also do it after you are together with them. Sometimes by looking at their phone and basically ignoring you, or doing it in several other ways. A great example of this is a girl knowing what you said and then just simply acting like she didn't hear you at all. I've actually been in various situations around the country where I knew a girl was looking at me, but when I went to talk to her, she acted like she had no idea that I was even there, even though she had been staring at me the whole time and she didn't know that I knew that. And sometimes girls would just flat out ignore me and act like they didn't hear me when there's no way that they didn't, just to frame me as the one who is chasing them. Now, the word for this behavior is called aloof, and it's one of the craziest and most common mind games that girls play. And if you notice somebody playing this game with you, she's most likely interested in you, even though she's just acting uninterested and kind of just ignoring you. And the main reason why girls play this particular game is simply to gain power. Because when one person pursues another person, it is the person who is being pursued who has all of the power and who is setting the frame that the other person will ultimately follow. So if a girl is playing this mind game on you, you can actually do it right back to her simply by acting the same way or by acting aloof and uninterested in her. An example of this is many guys, when approaching a group of girls, will simply ignore the really attractive girls and they will give all of their attention to the less attractive girls, even though they are really more interested in the girls who are more attractive. Number 2, invest everything, get nothing. Something you guys have to understand is that between every man and woman, there is a very important dynamic of power that exists. And if you're on the wrong side of this dynamic, then you are not going to get the results that you are looking for. Now, for thousands of years, females have been trying to set the default frame for society as one that says that females have the greatest value. And these efforts have largely succeeded. And it's the reason why so many guys in society today grow up believing that they are inferior to women, which leads them to putting them on a pedestal and doing pretty much anything that they possibly can to make the girl like them. And one of the craziest mind games that girls often play on guys is the invest everything and get nothing. Except that most men actually do get something from females for all the time, energy, and money that they invest, but oftentimes this something can be very little. Now, what you have to understand is that when you constantly invest your time, your attention, or your money into a girl and you get very little back, what you are doing is you are subcommunicating to her that she is far more valuable than you are. And what this actually does is it sets the power dynamic greatly in her favor. And trust me when I say this is not where you want to be as a man. Now, the simplest example of this mind game in action is when a girl gets you to buy her a drink or she's able to talk you into paying for the entire date with her. Now, over time, this game of invest everything, get nothing can take the form of you eventually paying for all of her bills and so on and so forth. So you have to be really careful and try to recognize this way ahead of time. Now, the thing is, society has actually framed females as being more valuable than men, but as a whole, males and females are actually equal. But it is in the context of dating, in the context of attraction, where females on average actually do have more value than men because they have something that all of us men are desperately trying to obtain but can't seem to get. And so because of this, most guys actually end up playing the invest everything, get nothing game in the hopes that they will eventually get what they want. Now, whether you just met a girl or you already have a girlfriend, always be aware of how much you are investing and how much you're getting back. And if you're getting to a point where you're investing everything and you're getting nothing, where you're getting very little back from the girl, then you're definitely falling victim to this really simple but really powerful mind trick that girls are regularly playing on guys. You see, girls will regularly play this mind game, and they will gradually get you to invest more and more of your time, energy, and resources if you don't catch it. And if you don't flip this power dynamic back in your favor, you could end up in a situation that you don't want to be in. And ironically, as a result of investing everything and getting nothing in return, girls will actually lose attraction for you in the process. Number 3, the prove yourself to me game. One of the absolutely craziest mind games that I have ever come across that girls play is the prove yourself to me game. Now keep in mind that pretty much all of these games that girls play on us serve the purpose of shifting the power dynamic that exists between a man and a woman into their favor. Now here's where it gets interesting. Girls actually do all of these things to shift the power and to make men chase, pursue, and invest in them, but at the same time, the more that you do these things, the less attractive you will become in the eyes of these girls. In fact, it's a total paradox where, on one hand, girls act like they want you to pay for everything, and they act like they want you to make them number one and invest all of your time and all of your attention and everything into them. But on the other hand, they are only really attracted to men who actually do the opposite of all these things. So the prove yourself to me mind game is when a girl gets you to basically jump through hoops, so to speak, almost like some kind of monkey in a circus. And like all of these other mind games that girls play on guys, this one can be as subtle as responding to your text message and then ignoring you immediately after. Or it can be something like getting you to do something or many things that she knows that you don't like or that you don't want to do. And each and every single time that you jump through these hoops, or each time that you basically prove yourself to her, all that you're really doing is playing into the game and sub-communicating to her that she is of a higher value than you. And all of these mind games are basically setting the frame of you chasing her rather than her chasing you. Now, pretty much all these specific mind games that I just mentioned are typically played by higher quality females, but there are many others that are far more manipulative and far more dirty that are usually played by the types of girls that you'd want to stay away from. So keep that in mind. Now, the thing about these mind games is that, like pretty much everything girls do, these games are so subtle that most guys completely miss them. And so what ends up happening is that by playing into the games and then not realizing it, what you end up doing is you end up telling girls without actually telling them that you are lower value than they are. And ultimately, that's all they really need to know to make a decision about you. You see, girls will always be the most attracted to guys who they perceive to have more value than themselves. And when you fall for these mind games, what you're doing is you're unconsciously showing your cards, so to speak. And if you show your cards and your hand is trash, then you're gonna lose in this game of attraction. But if you know the games and if you refuse to play them, or if you play them and you're able to flip them around, the power dynamic that is always existing between men and women will shift into your favor. And that, my friends, can be incredibly attractive. And if you guys are into all things money, be sure to check out my second channel, Money Secrets. The link is in the description. And until next time, thank you so much for watching.